Hello and welcome to the FTC Robotics Programming Tutorial Series. My name is Cayden Codel and I'm a programmer for Team 7617 Elemental Fusion, and today we'll be learning about primitive data types in Java. So currently I have Eclipse, which is the IDE I'll be using for pure Java topics early on in the series. So I've created a project called FTC Programming Tutorials, and I'm going to create a class in there, and I'm going to name it data types. And I'm going to add a main method down here. So let me quickly explain what's on the screen here. So the first line we have that says package self.Cayden Codel, this just allows the Java compiler to recognize that this program or this code is found inside the package of self.Cayden Codel. So this is an identifier. This tells the program where all this information down here is stored. So then the next line says public class data types. This is the class or the file that contains all of the information about data types, or what the file of data types is about. So like you would name a Word document report, and then all the words in there would tie into the report. This file called data types is all the code for the item of data types. So inside data types, first, the brackets enclose everything inside of this class file. So anything in between these brackets apply to this class. Anything outside does not matter inherently to this class. So before we get started programming, we need to learn how to comment. And commenting is very important for organizing your code and telling other people what it means. So comments are made by double slashes, double forward slashes. And so they stop on the next line, but you can continue by creating another set of double slashes. And then if you want to explain something in a really long set of, you need to explain something in a lot of lines, you can use a forward slash and an asterisk, and that will create a block comment. And it's created more by asterisks on each line. The IDE should put those in for you automatically, but that's how you make a block comment, and these can be minimized. So if you have a lot of things to say about a certain topic, you can write them out here and then minimize them. So this is a block comment. So that's how you comment. And the Java compiler ignores all white space and comments, so nothing that you write here will affect the program later. So now we get on to this down here. It says public static void main string these weird bracket things in args. So this is what we call the main method, and the main method is run whenever the program it runs or whenever the play button is pressed. So right now there's nothing inside, and if we run the program, nothing happens. So in order to make something happen, we need to put something inside the brackets. And again, these brackets enclose everything that's pertinent to the main method. So we're going to learn about different data types today. So we're going to learn about the integer, the long, the double, the float, the string, and the Boolean. So let's start with the int. To create any variable, you need the type, so right now it's int, and then you need the name, so first integer, and then you usually want to initialize it with some value. You could end the line right now with a semicolon, as most lines end in Java. However, it doesn't have a value currently, so if we set it equal to 5, then that will be what the value first integer has when the program runs. And so then when the program runs, this is what happens when the computer runs the program. It goes to the main method, and it sees you want to create a variable that is of type int, named first integer, and has a value of 5. So the computer sets apart the memory it needs for an integer, and then it assigns that box's name to first integer. So whenever anything references first integer, it gets what's inside, and what's inside the box right now is a value of 5. And this value can be changed later, but right now it's set to 5. So integers are any whole numbers, and they can be negative as well. So if I say int second integer, I can set that equal to -3. And that's completely okay. However, we cannot create third integer we cannot create integers that have decimal point values. So if I say 3.0, that does not work because 3.0 implies that it's not an integer. Rather, it is a data type that has a decimal point. So we're going to learn about that next. That's called the double. Doubles are integers that have decimal points as well. So we can say first double, and we can set that equal to 3.0. These doubles have all aspects of integers, so they can be negative, and they go very large numbers in either direction of 0 on the number line. And doubles can also store decimal point values. So that's very important if you want to manipulate fractions or irrational numbers or maybe power values on your motor. Next we have the long. The long is an integer but can store greater values. So these are often used in system management for timing. Timing is often given in longs or milliseconds, which is stored as a long. So it just needs more space. So long is just an integer with more space. So we have long with the value of 30. Next we have the float. And a float is a double but is more precise. So it can have many more numbers beyond the decimal point. However, if the program does not, or if the value you set it to does not immediately go to a float, so if you don't put enough stuff behind here, then the system will assume that it's a double, and it says that you can't go from double to float, so instead you need to put an F there. A little F will make the program read this as a float value instead of a double, and that'll assign that to a float. And then next we have the string, which is a series of text, or a series of characters which are together in a text. So it can be words, sentences, even paragraphs if you want. So first string is equal to, and we can say hello. And that'll set the value of hello. Strings are created by quotations. Anything inside the quotation marks is what the value is. But right now, only hello is being set. If you want to put in the quotations itself, then you need to use forward slashes, and that will let you put in any characters you want. So normally the string would only be the forward slash, but since the forward slash denotes something you want included, like a reserved, it's a reserved key, right? Then it will put it in for you. So this right now is quotation hello quotation. And then finally we have the Boolean, which is a true or false value. And normally this would seem very redundant. Like you wouldn't need a Boolean when you have all these numbers. You could check if it's greater than or less than 0 or something. But Booleans are very useful, even though they can only store two possible values, true or false. And programmers use Booleans a lot. So Boolean, first Boolean, is equal to true. And then this is true just on its own. True is a reserved keyword. So true and then false is the other. So I can say false. And those are the only two values that a Boolean can have. And then the final thing we'll cover today is how to print things to the console down there. So system.out.println is the command you want to use. And then anything inside the parentheses will be printed. So if we want to print the value of first integer, then we can say first integer, and it will print the value that's stored inside of first integer. If this value ever changes, then this will print that changed value. If we just put in 5, then it would print 5, but if this value changes, then this won't reflect it if we just put 5 instead of first integer. Similarly, we can print doubles, longs, floats, and strings. So let's print the string next, first string, and then let's print the Boolean. And then those will print the values of each of those. So this will be a number, this will be a series of text, and this will be either a true or false value. Finally, if you want to print something to the screen that's not a variable, you may do so, and this is called literals. So I could say print 5 or print hello world, so I'll do that. And so now, when we make the program run, it'll run top to bottom from the main method, it'll create all these variables, and then it will print out some of them. So if we run the program, we should say that it creates these variables, and then it will print out the value first integer, which is 5. It'll print out the value first string, which is hello. It'll print out the first Boolean, which is true, and then it'll print out hello world, which is a literal string. So if we run the program, we do see that it says 5, hello, true, and hello world. So that was creating and assigning values to primitive data types. I hope you found this video instructional and helpful. If you have any questions, please email me at the email listed in the video description. And happy programming!